the breath of fresh air, the breath of life in the lungs. The sustaining force of the Creator, along with the bloodline, the energy, the divine energy that connects us in unity as a people, bioelectric human beings in a quantum holographic world, an energetic world, a spiritual world, divine world. Humam Abdulmalik. Once again, before the sun rises, with Blackanized, international Nubian consciousness, conscious just moves, greeting you as always with peace, power, and love, descends from above, within, and all around. I'm here, as always, to motivate, stimulate, and agitate, to elevate us within ourselves, to purify our minds, our bodies, and our spirits. Because what we put in, what we receive, is what we're going to put out in word, actions, or deeds. So when we exercise, we got to exercise with a positive, constructive deliberation. Our ability to come together and unify is a must in this day and time. Because we're going through so much and by way of social engineering that people don't even have an idea that's going on. And they say that when other people say these things to them, use these terms of social engineering and under robot control and walking around with your eyes wide shut and selling your soul, becoming a Negro pen, words and quotes that I use to try to stimulate, motivate, and wake us up, waking myself up. We have to understand, it's a matter of fact, that this is an open laboratory at the present time. I mean, it was a brother talking the other day, talking about the diseases that they create. He was going over the historical alternative facts, such as they say, where like the green monkey and stuff like that, and through homosexuals and stuff like that, the creation of it, where it come from and all that. But the reality is, it come right up, it's at 295 Fort Detrick in the laboratory, a biological weapon that they created, and it got out of hand. See, they be trying to create weapons, eugenic weapons that deal with us, but they can't deal with that because the natural aspect of that will not happen, because the bloodline is the bloodline that we all have. It's a bloodline that humanity has and kind of man has also. So now the creation of that, along with mad cow disease and the swine flu and all that, those viruses, and they're created in the laboratory. But this open market laboratory, they have through social engineering mastered ways to, through the chemtrail, to have a grid that blocks the sunlight, not totally, but the ultraviolet rays that come down and affect us, and affect the melanin in the strands of our hairs, like they are, like our hair is like antennas. So the brothers is wearing the dreads and all that. That is, like an antenna to the energy of the sun, that we derive that energy from. And the same thing is going on in our community, that we got to come together as a divine people. As a people, we must become unified. we got to do more positive than negative in our lives. We got to network, collaborate, and come together and stop what's going on in our community that's of a negative energy, that's hurting our community, that's taken away from our community, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And we're being harmed on every level, especially physical, when our young children be snatched up or whatever, or manipulated to go into domains of negative activity. Some never come back, but those are the ones that are really kidnapped or whatever. Some others maybe, I'm speculating, runaways, or like I said, they're manipulated by older people to get into activities to make money or get materialistic things like tennis shoes, clothes, or whatever. But these are our young sisters that, haven't developed or anything, mentally or spiritually or anything, and being misled down a path of destruction. And so, in saying that, because some of the females have been returned or came back, but I don't know what's going on. Have they been questioned and stuff like that? I'm talking about in the locale of our community. Read that a few have been found or whatever. But are they getting any data from them? Did they go off on their own? Were they persuaded to go off? Were they manipulated to go off? Or were they forced to go off? And where did they go? Did they get any information from them to where they went and who was behind it and all that? Maybe is under investigation. That's all I can say about that. But I think that need to be done. That need to happen. We got to find out the real core or substance behind this uprising now, missing children being used in sex rings or whatever. But it's of a bigger picture, because we know that it's like 800,000 missing black women, 800,000 missing black women and men and children. And this not just started. It's been going on for some years. We had an incident with Alicia Rudd, and that was in, 2013. It was like, the sister ain't found yet, and people still have their heart and their mind that she's alive. I pray that that she is, and that her experience may not have been an experience that'll mess with her mentally and distort her reality. That's if the Lord or the circumstances have her still alive at this time. But during that time, there have been so many others that have been missing and not found, and that should not be a mystery. And as I said before, we in the community should be doing a more diligent job of protecting our youth in our community. I think it's the community's job to do these things, to be protectors of our community. I think that we as a people need to unify in our community and be more watchful in our community. And we got to find out, is this something that's outside of the community coming into the community, or is it something inside the community that's going out, that had this activity going on? At one time, we know that back 3 years ago or whatever, during that time with Alicia Rudd, not to say anything about our boys in blue, but they had a sex ring going on. Not saying that got anything to do with what's going on now. But some force is in our community. I don't know if it's personal or like some collective endeavor from outside got this going on, or it's just a way of our youth to make away from themselves. Something is going on. It's a dysfunctional family. The family is not being a family or diligent enough as a family to act as a family, to be a positive, well put together, constructive force within the house. I mean, a lot of our households either have single mothers or single fathers, dealing with growing up or teaching our youth to raise them up correctly, but they have to be having that endeavor. They have to be disciplinaries and parents to instill self-control and discipline in our children. We can't put our children's friend and sort of that way. We got to raise them up. We can be friendly to them, but it ain't about being a friend. It's about being a parent, being able to guide them into a righteous manner of conduct in society. But we can't get away from our other problem either. It seems like we're dealing with one problem, one perspective of what's going on in our community, then we just jump from that. All of a sudden, just jump from a situation that's going on in our community, that's been going on in our community for a while, to jump to another situation that's going on. All of a sudden, now it's an issue. But the issue was going on without any media attention or anything. I don't know if the investigation underground or whatever, but it seemed as though nobody talking about the situation. But people in the community, like Sister Valencia Harris or the brother Henderson or Sister TT, then, brother, the city council member, Mr. White, has taken up the banner in that circle or whatever. And now, now it's more police issue, or I think the mayor's getting involved also. But at this time, when it's been going on for a while, and I guess it's a good thing. But what's going to change? What are you going to do? How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to deal with what you weren't dealing with at first? I believe that the people in the community have to solve this issue. Every problem that we have, we must solve it. We in the community, we must become that village that we be talking about, that it takes a village to raise a child. We got to come that. We got to develop a more positive energy of love and peace among ourselves. We got to purify ourselves, purify our thoughts, our actions, and our deeds. Again, I say, we must understand that what we put in ourselves, what we eat, what we read, what we hear, is like information or data going into a computer, because your brain is like that. And whatever you put in is going to come out in word, actions, and deeds. Sister I met, she said she'd be looking at the broadcast, and she asked a question. She said, "Why don't you ask the people a question?" She asked me to do that in the closing, but I'm going to do it now. She said, what are we? We keep pointing outside pertaining to the circumstances. What about inside? What about if it's coming from within? I think she is talking like pedophiles or whatever within the household or whatever, something like that of that nature. She said we should question that. We should look at that perspective. And she wanted me to mention that, so I mentioned it. But on the same token, wherever it's coming from, dysfunctional family or whatever, we, the community, should be able to detect it. If we was a community, if we was neighborly. I remember growing up in a previous timeline that the community was unified, that we could leave our doors open and we can discipline each other's children in a way that it was accepted by the parent. When the person got home, they may be disciplined again. That we shared everything and all that. But through social engineering, the breakup of the family, firstly with our females, giving our females better position than the males, which ain't no problem, which isn't no problem. We just got to be able to handle that in a balance of mentality and spirit when we're in relationships. And we can't be manipulated to think one is better than the other when we're helpmates of each other. Oh, man. What can I say? Oh, they're having a townhouse meeting on the 22nd, which is tomorrow. And by the way, again, it's the spring solstice. It was yesterday, the first day of spring. What they say is really the new year. It's the rejuvenation of everything. This is like spring cleaning, purification. I always be talking about purifying the body. Like everybody start cleaning up their house for spring cleaning. This is a time to rejuvenate and clean up yourself. Purify your thinking, your eating, and everything. And when you get into your routine of exercise, you got to exercise all that. You got to exercise your spirituality. You exercise the knowledge that you put in your receptacle or to gain wisdom, in your computer, and physical exercise, everything. This is the time for that. But it's the time also for purification, cleaning up everything, the community also. It's a time for us to come together. And they're coming together tomorrow to discuss an issue that's been going on in our community. It should be well attended. It should be with proper questions. My question is, what you gonna do that you haven't been doing? The problem existed for a while. I mean, even with like the 800,000 missing children or men or women or whatever, there's been no media attention given to that. And most of them are us. And then there's a statistic that you can look up or whatever about this. They say it's 164,000 missing melanated women or children or whatever, 164,000. So this is something that's been going on a while. It ain't like just happened yesterday or 3 years ago. It's been going on a while. Nobody been talking about it. And again, I like to tip my hat to the brother Henderson, Felicia Harris, and Sister Tiki. I mean, they've been on it. They've been promoting, trying to open up an investigation or trying to find their missing seed or whatever, or just get information to the community of what's going on. And then all of a sudden, everybody want to get on the bandwagon for a good reason. But hopefully something can be done. I know that the community, the people that live in the community, that is not a job, it's the life experience. We have to develop mode, operation, that our eyes be vigilant in our community. And we stop walking around with our eyes wide shut, caught up on all these negative vices and this and that, intoxication and drugs and all that. It has a place for the activity that's happening in our community. Because if we ain't conscious of what's going on around us, it's like walking around with our eyes wide shut. Because we be in another state of stupor or euphoria of feeling good or whatever when things be happening right in front of us. We got to become more disciplinary in raising our children. We got to discipline our children. I see a lot of children, be cussing, don't have no respect and all that for the elders. We need to instill that respect in them. And sometimes you see children that have respect. You should compliment them on that. I done seen it happen before on the bus where people was cussing and stuff like that. And one group of children, one wasn't, and an older elder complimented them. And I told him, you see that? See how your respect got that compliment? That carries you a long way. Self-respect carries you a long way. And I just be reiterating that we have to solve our problem in our community. Nobody else can do it. See, like with the police, slave catchers, it's their job to stop crime and all that in our communities. But with these eyes, we can see crime is always after the fact. They're always coming after the fact. That's the game that's being played. We want to prevent crime in our community. And the only way that we can prevent it is we stop it. And the ones that's doing it must stop it. We must find another avenue, alternative to that lifestyle. As human beings, as brothers and sisters, we must change ourselves in order to change the conditions that affect us in our community. It's a verse in the Quran say that the Creator never changed the condition of a people unless they change that which is in their heart. And that's what the essence of it is. If our conditions won't change in our community unless we change our thinking or our heart, how we feel towards each other. We got to overcome the self-hate of the Willie Lynch syndrome, or the social engineering of the stimuli. They do certain things that affect us and see which way we go. How much can we take? Just like the police shooting and all that. We was on the verge of rising up or fighting back or doing whatever. It makes you think like that. It makes you want to do something, but that's their stimuli. Because they prepared, everything they do, they're prepared for the next phase that they're going to implement. See, we can't just be spontaneous or whatever's going on in our community. We have to be organized and unified as though we're developing an infrastructure on all levels, from the spiritual, physical, political, and everything. And this has to be done like yesterday. What I'm saying that we should be in the process of it. There's a lot of people doing the talking, such as I, and more people with information greater than I. But if you put it all together, it's building a bridge of connection, spiritual connection, mental connection, physical connection, economic connection. It's about growth and development on all levels. So, what do we do as a community? First of all, we got to start talking as neighbors. We got to start knowing who our neighbors are, who are around us. We've been in certain settings or living around each other for years and don't even know each other across the street and don't know each other's names, or we don't even talk to each other or something like that. We got to overcome that. And we got to start thinking about the welfare of each other like we are a bloodline. We are extended family members spiritually and all that. But we got to think like we immediate family. You know, like what happens to you is happening to me. If you hurt, I hurt. That's the only way that we're going to stop what's going on in our community. If it's an outside or inside negative force that we got to deal with, it got to be dealt with. We got to make choices. We can't stand off and stand back. We got to deal with this situation just because we're black. Because it is a fact that we're under attack. We be going through social engineering. That's a fact. What is social engineering? It's the manipulation of the mentality by outside forces that are professionals at it, through mass mind control, professionals at it. All you have to do is look it up. Everything that I'm saying, I'm not just saying haphazardly. I'm saying it through study, through reading, through experience. Like I said, masterminds or whatever that I've been learning from over the years, that the things that people might say that it's a conspiracy theory, it's not that. It's a reality. We as a people must open our eyes and understand what's going on and why it's going on. We must understand this political system is based on hypocrisy. A term I use is the United Snakes of Hypocrisy under satanic administration. It's like it's a game that they play to keep us in play, to play games along with them, with the serious matter of living our lives. They want us to, conform to this ideology and concepts that they have created for us to follow under these laws that when they first came into being, they didn't even look at us as human beings. They looked at us as less than human beings, 3/5 of human beings, matter of fact. That's in the Constitution when they drew it up. Not only that, other fraudulent laws like the Dred Scott law that we be overlooking because we think we finally arrived. We had Obama in office, and now he's gone. And now we got another, what I'll say, this is a clown in the circus. No disrespect, but if you act like that and your shoe size fit the shoes that you walk in, then that's what it be. Some people, I heard a brother say he respects the seat, but he don't respect the man that's in the seat. It's all part of a Roman emperorship, or is based on that Roman parliamentary whatever Senate type setting, and really is for their growth and development. Is Nagathor, troglodyte, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant control to govern the people through whatever means that they do, through manipulation and social engineering, to keep us in place and play the games of materialistic and take away our spirituality, take away our African spirituality, our culture, and our customs that gives us that extra edge, that creativity to know who we are as spiritual beings. And we got to overcome their indoctrination, and their social narcotics that we be so much addicted to if we don't become aware. And the reality of it is that it's all a game to them to maintain control. to keep manipulating us, stimulating us to go in a certain direction. To have our young youth, the other side of this quoting or whatever that going on, because now we basing everything. We done moved it from one problem, now we bringing it over here, which is a problem too. So which problem do we deal with? The killing in our community, or the kidnapping, or the manipulation of our young brothers and sisters being taken out of the home, and the killing over here, and who's doing it, and why it's happening in our community at this time? What we gonna do about it as the people of the community at this time? Are we gonna put it in somebody else's hand and let them, I'll say, drag along? If they ain't gonna be proactive and have something done right now, then what is it? It's the same old thing that's been going on that ain't nobody been doing nothing about, unless it's a secret investigation that we don't know about, because it ain't in the news being talked about. And why? Why is it not being talked about in the news in our community? Why? Because the people who control it don't want it there. They don't want us aware of what's going on in our community. But we got to be proactive in our community. Let me see, what else can I say to motivate or stimulate myself, to motivate and stimulate us as a people to be more proactive in our community? Oh, I want to say I seen something yesterday about some young, you know how people be on here showing fights and all that. And there was two brothers fighting, and the brother came up. And, you know, he said, why are y'all fighting? He went into this whole dialogue to the two brothers, using the other people that was videoing it, and saying that they was, you know, a scenario like good and evil, or, you know, like devils or whatever. They laughing at you and all. It was a good gesture on his part. He went through the dialogue with them to the point that they shook hands. See, we need more of that. That's proactive in our community. To stop two young brothers that's fighting. Even that's great. They was fighting. You know, they ain't had no gunplay. But we still need to be there to interrupt that, to intercede in those type of actions amongst our youth, because what are they fighting for? Really showing off, being on here to make a statement for popularity or celebrity or whatever. But that was a good deed by the young brother to come in and intervene. We need more of that. We need our elders to overcome the fear that they have for our youth in our community, our young adults. And our young adults have to change their thinking, have to change their mindset, their spirit. Know that they're being manipulated through social engineering. They like mice in a laboratory, like the gerbil on the spirit on the treadmill. Then we also be in the carousel of life, going around in circles. Just going around in circles with no real purpose or aim, or all it is, I gotta get money and I gotta eat. But we need to overcome those idiosyncrasies and those vices that hurt and harm us in our community. We gotta come together and sustain ourselves in constructive, positive ways, so that we can uplift ourselves and be motivated to do the right thing in our community. That is unify, organize, and become infrastructure, a city within a city, a state within a state, a country within a country, connected to all people that's coming together in a righteous manner, in a way to uplift us righteously and divinely, and understand that our institutions of religion must bring us together in peace and harmony as people, culturally. We cannot let the religions that we practice keep us separated. It got to bring us together. Got to bring us together. I don't care what we practicing. Islam, Christianity, whatever we practice. Hebrew, Israelite, whatever. Got to bring us together as a people. On this planet, we got to come together and unify. If we don't, we're going to continue to die. Not only physical death, but mental death and spiritual death. Then we'd be walking around like a living dead, like the zombies they're trying to create in our community also. With this Flacker and 2K and all that. They're promoting it. You know what the zombie is. You see it on TV. We caught up on looking at it, the Night of Living Dead. It's programming us. All the things that we see, they programming us through television, telling us what to do or what's going to transpire through the vision that we see. And it goes into our subconscious mind, and when it comes in, we like, God, dog, but we be programmed for it. We be programmed for it through that, then we be programmed more from it when we partake of it. When we smoke that 2K and the Flocka and all that, and the programming and all that in your mind, and you see us out in the street and how the effect of it. A lot of it is in New York. They have like whole blocks of it and the effects of it. We have a few times in the D.C. area that we've seen it and how it affects us. And it's all interrelated. Everything, every social ill or problem that we have in our community is interrelated. It's all from social engineering, from the scientists, the social scientists in the laboratories that they have 24/7 going on, from the NSA, NSC, CIA, and all that. Private corporations of this Carvel nation, of this Corporation of England, the Vatican, London, Washington, D.C., the military, the financial, and the religious. We got to know what's going on, because if we don't, we're going to be manipulated by what's going on. We can be caught up in it and join our, whatever, our positions in life and all that, and becoming like Negropeans and trying to emulate the European, because we think they have it all. They got the system and all that. But we got to realize that if we are a divine being, we can overcome everything. All this negative energy in our community. But it starts with self. With knowing thyself and who we are. The star children, the Indingo, the indigenous, the aborigines, with a mysticism, a mystery about us that when we tune into it or tap into it, it opens us up. We got to understand all the sciences that develop us as a people, as human beings, to come together, to take control of our community. Because we live in this. It's our life. It's not no job. It's a process. We got a job to sustain our life, but in our community, we live here. We should want the best community. We should want a clean community. But it comes from a clean mind, a purified mind, a spiritual mind, a divine mind, in this temple which is your body, the energy of the Creator within it. So with that, say or let us know that let's be the builders and maintainers of our society, our community, starting with ourselves first, within ourselves as individuals, but dealing with the individuality to become of a collective reality of unification, organization, and development. And let's do this. We don't have a choice in the matter, because if we don't, we're going to keep being affected by what's going on in our community, the deaths, the kidnappings, the rapes, the selling of our young women, sexual predators and pedophiles or whatever. And whoever doing it, we got to stop them, we got to find them, and we got to hold them accountable. And we got to reach our youth and build them up to change their mentality. We got to put things in position with these people that say they are these government officials, these these entrepreneurs, these business people. But it starts with ourselves first, by becoming purified, divinely, mentally, physically, building up, exercising to become the best that we can be individually for a collective endeavor to come together in unification. I just want to say that this needs to happen today, no later than right now, because we under a hypnotic spell that we got to break. These things shouldn't be going on in our community. We shouldn't. These young sisters or brothers shouldn't be coming up missing like that. These sisters shouldn't be in the habitat of selling themselves for sexual gratification of these sexual predators or pedophiles or whatever, or the sisters that we don't know where they're at. We need to stop that, allowing it to happen in our community. The only way we can stop it is we stop it, because this is our community. And I want to say that we have to do it. The police can't do it. It's our job. It's not a job. It's our way of life, because we got to live here. Living here, we got to control our environment, where we live. We got to be more diligent in that. We got to do it together as one people, with one mindset, stemming from love, not self-hate. We got to have self-love. We got to develop love for each other, a divine love, a true love, to bring community together and don't destroy it. The self-hate is what's destroying our community, and that's through social engineering, social narcotics, the Willie Lynch syndrome, and all those things that have been forced upon us. But we know it's a different time now. We don't have no excuse. European, we know what he's doing and what he's done and all that and what he's still doing. You know about the social engineering, but we got to come into our spiritual being so that we can reflect that. You reflect it because if you detect it, you can reflect it. If you know, then you know. You know what he's doing. So you can reflect it with the shield of the divine energy or knowledge. And being able to, go through this quagmire, deceptive maze that we find ourselves in, but finding a way through the light of our ancestors, the guidance that they gave us, and the signs that they gave us, where they left us signs, and the most one is the truth is etched in stone. And everything that they got, we got to know they got it from us. Through plagiarism, through control, through plunder, through everything. We can't forget, nor can we forgive. We just got to build in a righteous, positive manner to uplift ourselves as a people, healing ourselves as a people. Once we do that, and we're in the process of it now, then we can deal with outside of ourselves to connect with everybody else. But right now, it's most important that we stop the affliction that's going on in our community by outside force or inside force through manipulation. We can't be the victim no more. And we don't suffer from something called victimology. No. This system of hypocrisy owe us an apology. They owe us more than that. So we owe ourselves more than that also. So in the essence of the Creator, on this day, this moment, let's take a stand. Don't forget they're having a townhouse meeting the 22nd. Excel School on Martin Luther King Avenue from 6 to 8. If you can attend, attend. So we need to know what is their plan. A plan that is in all of a sudden demand when this been going on for some time. It wasn't no media. Now all of a sudden media and everything, attention given to this fact of our missing children or whatever. But so be it. If you can attend, attend. If you can't, still be part of the solution and not part of the problem. With that I say peace, power, and love sent from above. Tell somebody you love them today, motivate them, stimulate them, and agitate them to act in accord to their nature, the divine nature that we have as a people. And do that today and let it be for every day, for the rest of your life, being part of the blessing that we come together according to our ancestors and by divine decree, on the pathway of our ancestors to greater things to be. In this political climate, as we keep climbing out of the abyss and the cesspool of negative activity and get up on the land of harmony and peace for the black man, woman, and child. Have a great day in love and peace.